What's up, everybody? Welcome to Round 5 Commentary with your boy Sparky. I'm here with Victor. Say hi, Victor.
They should have banned or left Opal banned.
Yeah, I think he's alluding to what's going on screen. We have an Affinity deck and a Temur Underworld Breach deck from Ryan and Steve, respectively. It looks like Ryan won that dice roll, from what I could tell.
I mean, listen, when you have Mox, whatever you want in a deck, it doesn't really matter who's in the play or the draw. You're always winning.
Then he just shows that he had like the nut, but isn't going to keep it.
In fairness to Ryan, that hand actually looked pretty terrible. It looked like it had explosive mana, but nothing to do with it other than play an Ornithopter,
I
which
mean,
is the one.
he had the metallic rebuke, but I guess that wasn't enough, and they both decided
Yeah,
to
but
take the
what do you do
molly.
with a bunch of mana with a hand of lands, fast mana, an Ornithopter, and a metallic rebuke? It's hard to.
You believe in the heart of the cards and you draw the thought
No,
monitor
he's
off the top.
I have I know that Ryan is a very skilled pilot, especially with Affinity, but I think even he knows that relying on the top of your deck with Affinity is not exactly the smartest plan you could have.
No, because you just brick off 3 lanes there and it's kind of a bad time. This one does have a thought monitor in it, and he's got a. Ooh, no, it's a Kappa. Ooh, and a Forging the Anchor, which is a really fun card. For those who don't know what Forging the Anchor does, I believe it's 3 mana, and you look at the top 5 cards, and you get to keep all artifacts.
You may reveal any number of artifacts when you look at the top five from among those and put them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So
Nice.
it's Affinity, so there's a good chance that you're probably going to show at least three.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Ryan starts off with the classic Citadel into Springleaf Throne.
I don't know if it's a classic just yet, but with Opal being back around, that probably will become a classic line of play.
Well, I mean, there were. I guess I wasn't playing Citadel in my Hammer deck, but there've been many times where I've gone land, drum, and felt pretty good.
Yeah, especially because I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, because I know Hammer Time, even after this unbanning, is still kind of trying to claw its way back into the limelight. You still run, you have Ornithopter, I believe, so you can get a pretty decent start from that.
Hammer Time got a turn earlier with the Mox Opals, but like it's got to dig into you somewhere. I've seen 1 or 2 people try and play it recently, but I definitely think it's one of the decks that can be one of the hyper aggressive decks in the format. Ooh. Ryan misses a land drop. Steve plays a Saga, makes a clue, deals 1 billion damage. Um, and he's got a grinding station here.
Ooh, that'll cause psychological horror for many.
I will. Wait. There's a trigger here. No, with the untapped trigger on the stack. Sure. I guess it doesn't matter. Go.
Interesting.
Yeah. One thing I've learned from watching a lot of these grinding station decks is like you want to maximize all of your grinding station triggers.
All right, well, we're gonna get to see it. Let's see how many Ryan gets to reveal. I have a weird feeling it's not going to be many, just because of the amount of lands he has not drawn. Never mind, I lied. It was 3, just like I called.
And I think he can play all 3 of those.
I hate this game. Wow, yeah, that's cool, guys. Great job, Wizards. Did it again. Fire everyone. Hire me.
Wow. He's left with a drum and 2 Kappas in hand.
Yeah, those will be out next turn, and then we can just, rain Hellfire. That's a beautiful land that Steve just drew.
Yeah, very pretty pixel snow-covered island. He's got 2 rumbles in his hand. It looks like a Saga, the island we stated, and I think that's an Underworld Breach.
Yeah, maybe if he clicks his heels together 3 times and wishes to go home, he'll draw the cards he needs.
So he's off the green man to play the rumbles, which is a little rough.
I don't even know what he's looking for here, because, well,
I would be looking for a green mana source, to be honest. That's about as close to a green mana source as you can get, because we can put some more artifacts into the graveyard with the Emery he just drew, and then he
So
can get a Springleaf Drum off with the Saga next turn. Go ahead.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
so no, you're good. So because I'm just trying to think it out because I do not play breach decks forever. I think everyone at home knows that, but he doesn't necessarily need the green. He actually just needs to get what, an amber in yard.
Yeah, but I think like the mill 4 is the big thing here,
Make clue.
and he's got a trigger right now.
Yeah, but if he's gonna crack it to flip. I was thinking about if he was gonna start trying to combo but he doesn't have the 0 mana artifact, so maybe it's too risky.
Oh, and Amber makes green now.
Uptick. Sure.
Does it really?
Yeah, Tameo is green and blue.
Oh, look at that! Yeah. Oh, except still not going to be great there, though. This does slow Ryan down, especially because of the fact that Ryan couldn't put Cannoneers into play last turn. Thank goodness. I mean, not that turn wasn't absolutely filthy in every particular way.
No, that was
I
a
mean,
big turn for Ryan.
at most, Ryan is able to attack for 2 this turn.
Yeah, but what are you going to threaten? Do you threaten the Tameo, which could buy something like an instant or sorcery back, or are you threatening the life total? Like you're only going to chip him down to 15.
You go for the Tameo just to keep the buyback off. You don't want there to be a Tameo left in play. Plus, also have an instant or sorcery buyback from the graveyard.
My main issue with that is the buyback. I don't think does enough, like for the combo. Like the things he wants to buy back are going to be like the cards that Steve wants to be casting are going to be like the 0 drops that are like artifacts, so we can just keep the loop going. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes with this attack. I mean, I believe you're right. Attack the Planeswalker down, get like one of the permanents off the battlefield.
I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, two life when you have double Cannoneer at this particular point. I don't know if that'll make a huge difference. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe it's Maybelline. But you know that you're not going to do anything impactful besides the fact that you can at least just cut Steve off of the ability to do one more thing because you don't know that maybe that extra he needs to dig a little bit further and that allows him to dig. So I would think that, but
That's fair.
tough call to make.
We're just gonna grow it to get it to be lethal.
I'm surprised he didn't actually hold the opal just to grow the next one, just in for a future standpoint. But maybe Ryan's expecting that he won't have many turns left to do this.
With Steve already in the phase of like he's gonna like the only way he has got to use Tameos to go up. I think he knows his team's gonna be weak, so the Memnite and the Ornithopter aren't attacking anyway. So it basically just gives him like almost free reign to like make a construct maybe and find something. Which in his deck main, his one-ofs are Aether Spellbomb, Lava Spur Boots, Shadow Spear, and Tormod's Crypt. Tormod's Crypt is pretty good in this matchup. And then we see the Emerald. Or the Amber.
You mean the Mox what are the two?
Mox Amber. It's Amber and Opal,
Yeah.
but yes, that's the Amber.
Yeah. Well, the Amber is more likely to make mana right here, so you would be more behooved. I was thinking to make the joke of what are the two what is the green and the blue Mox?
Because it's infinite mana, mill my deck. Do you want to look at my deck?
Oh, okay, we're gonna do a little bit of shortcutting. Turns out that Ryan is in fact dead. I believe the kill con is just Oracle.
Yeah,
missed that first land thing because I had forging in the Kappa.
Okay,
Yeah, so I need to be like a
I was.
Yeah, Ryan was just saying that he needed to be a turn sooner with the Kappa in order to do what he did. I completely biffed on. Oh, I guess Saga just finds the combo card for Steve to win right now.
Second clue to try and hit because I have reached that turn, and if I hit an Amber or an Opal that turn,
yeah, this is what I was talking about. Which Steve is explaining right now is that if he if he's able to flip into the Opal, like if he plays his Emery on the turn that he flipped the Tameo, and he hits Opal or he hits Amber, he's able to go off that turn and just
Okay.
do the combo because he'd have the Underworld Breach as well. But the
So
safer
sounds like
play, yeah.
it sounds like that Ryan was going to be a turn behind no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
which is insane because that forging the anchor card that reveal into the called number of 3 into immediately play them all out kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like the card's definitely pretty strong, especially like I kind of like it over Thoughtcast, because I'm not sure how many people are running like Orcish Bowmasters right now, but it's a way for the deck to like kind of play around Bowmaster and like still kind of be okay, where you have cards you can play to get you some advantage in those matchups that are making you discard cards. But we'll see what happens. We're on to the sideboards here. Looking at Ryan's sideboard. I like the Disruptor Flute and the Force of Negations and the Grafdigger's Cage. And then I definitely like bringing like another Tormod's Crypt, the Nile Spellbomb, and the Haywire Might. Those are all kind of cards that I think deal with Steve's combo pretty well. And then as far as taking cards out, I'm not sure if I want to be playing the Rebuke game, although you can just leave your counter spells up. I think that's a little hard to do that. Maybe we cut some cranial platings, which can be it can be kind of mana intensive, and possibly the Aether Spell Bomb.
Yeah, it's a tough call, right? Because if you're taking on Metallic Rebuke, that's basically saying that you're gonna, and if the idea is swap them out and then bring forces in, that means you now need to keep either at that point you're left with your one sink into stupor, your forging the anchors, your thought monitors, your kappas, which you're never going to want to pitch, and your emeries, which can sometimes be stuck in hand because you maybe already have one in play. That does seems like it would make it a little bit harder to pressure you to have a blue card left in hand. When
The math checks out for you needing like the Force of Will math, where if you're playing 4 Force of Will, you need 15 blue cards in your deck, give or take, in order to be able to pitch cast a force. The math works out to be about 16 if you swap the rebukes for the pitch spells. I only like the pitch spells in the general case of like you can kind of like tap your entire turn, put a cannon or a kappa into play, and then like have force back up for whatever your opponent does, so that you can unclick, untap, and then get in the guts. Now,
okay.
I'm not too sure if that's good, but it's a plan. And then I think we just kind of move some of these one ofs and then bring in the hate cards. Like
I
get rid
guess
of
we're
the
gonna find out.
Shadow Spear, the Lava Spear boots, and stuff like that to bring in Haywire Might, another like Nile Spellbomb, Tormod's Crypt, whatever, or the Grafdigger's Cage.
Didn't mean to cut you off there. I was trying to
You're fine.
capitalize on the fact that Steve was showing us maybe some of the cards he's considering. So it looks like he brought in the spell here. Is a lot of one ofs in Steve's deck, but I guess it makes sense. You're going to go through a lot of cards.
I see him cutting Heat, Bolt, some number of Mishra Baubles, and some of his blue spells. Which I think his blue spells are only like Emery's.
Blue spells in the deck checklist. It's going to be 3 Preordains, a Thoracle, 4 Tamios, 4 Emerys are his blue cards.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he just is trying to maybe just cut 1 and 1. Looks like there's definitely a Preordain in the front.
Yeah. I see the Nile Spellbomb. I see the forces have come in. Lava Spur Boots is still in. He brought the Haywire Might in. I think he may be cutting like the Frog Mites. Yeah. He cut a lot of the top end. Oh, he's leaving the Thought Monitors in. Okay. I like that. Frog Mite's not really big. It's kind of just like a free 2/2.
I guess you don't really need a free 2/2 if you're trying to play for this mid-range grind match anyway.
Yeah.
Is what I think. I mean, to me, in my mind, that's what Ryan would be trying to do. I could be completely wrong, and I'm sure there's a lot of Affinity players out there that will yell at me. I'm so sorry. I'm usually on the other side, just wrathing your board away. So I'm not exactly too sure the logic, but in my mind, from an outside looking in, I would think the Breach is actually the faster deck. So you have to slow it down in some capacity.
There's
Except there's no nut draw. Well, I guess the nut draw is like.
there's a world where like Ryan just becomes like if he does it the correct way, and what again, like I said, I don't know the correct way, but if he just has 7 counter spells and he just becomes the control deck, that could be the right thing where he's just like no, okay, you can play that, that's fine, no, and then just wins the game off of that. I could see that happening. I see a crypt in his hands, and he's got a couple zeros. I think that's an Ottawara on the far left with a Saga.
I'll keep.
He's got a turn 1 Opal too.
Okay.
Ooh, baby, can he thought monitor right here? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's not enough.
I always forget Thought Monitor math.
So
It's 7 altogether.
Yeah, it's 7
Yeah.
altogether. Yeah. So it would be reduced by 4, and you'd only have 2 to pay.
Actually, I'm sorry. Wouldn't that have been Thought Monitor math? Because if it's 7, he only has 2. Yeah. Oh wow, and it ended up working out that he rebuked.
Yeah. Ooh, and he gets the land for it. He is so happy.
Getting in for 1 because it's all about the moral victory.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's just going to load up on his sagas, just apply that early game, and then maybe use the
100%.
Thought Monitor later on.
This definitely seems like one of those ones where he can kind of... Ooh, double Tameo.
Okay. Box hammer. Okay. Box couple.
Loading up.
That one doesn't do anything.
Currently. Could be a load up for Emery, though, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, yeah. That's fine. It makes the Emery cost 1.
Hitting a bauble on Emery is never a bad time.
No, and we have a Gundam enter the battlefield.
Very, very nice.
And a Gundam enter his hand. I think that is Wing Gundam. And a Gundam of Kappa Cannoneer entering his hand. Let's see if he wants to... Okay.
Yeah, I think overall the Cannoneer is a better threat than the Saga token.
The guy being unblockable is pretty huge, yeah.
Just to be safe.
Oh, Steve playing around Get Pithing Needle just to wasteland you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's something to think about.
Stomp the ground.
Yeah. Steve with a very nice mana base. I will say though that my fetches are expeditions and unfortunately foreign language. Cool for some.
I'm gonna be honest here. I
not
really
giving me
like
points.
I really like the Grafdigger's Cage here. Like your Emery just can't do anything.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. I mean, your Emery can't do anything.
Underworld Breach can't do anything. Like, have to deal with that card.
Yeah, because you can't cast the cards. I'm thinking of a different card. Oh, Soulless Jailer. But I mean, Grafdigger's just shuts the whole thing off.
Yep.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Emery does let you. Yeah, you can then cast the card. Yeah, so Grafdigger is huge here.
Yeah, very big play. And I do believe he can get in with the Construct, and then if he wants to, he can tap out.
Well,
if he plays the Opal from his hand, he doesn't have to tap the Crypt, and he can play the Kappa this turn.
So I'll say this, even though I don't ever love giving you too many compliments because I'm always worried that you might fly away. When is it, as someone who I've seen bluff many a person in a game of mind games, When is it worth
Why?
holding the bluff versus showing your hand? And in this case, I feel like Ryan is showing his hand that because to my knowledge, the only thing now he has left, he can't rebuke. Rebuke isn't available at this particular point because he only has 2 technical mana to do. So when is it worth it to sell out to advance your board versus hold back the card and maybe bluff the situation?
So I think in the current spot that he's in with Steve only having 2 cards, I think the proper time to jam was right when he did it. Because like you're calling Steve on having the answer not only to the cage but also to getting through the crypt that's in play. You have a welding jar you can sack to regen the cage. So you need 2 answers to the cage and you need to not be stopped by crypt. Like I think the thing here was to apply all the pressure. I think every other turn from now on, if Steve does anything, you stop, you take a moment to reflect, and you just look at your cards, even if they're blank cardboard basic lands, and you just assume that they're good.
Okay.
Hey, that's a good one to stop regeneration.
Okay.
Um,
Blood blue.
did he use the opal to tap and crack a clue?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was like, oh, wait.
Play a Mox double trigger.
No, he sequenced it correctly, to my knowledge. I could be wrong,
He
but
cast it in a weird spot, but that was fine.
I like to block here before damage. Get rid of the.
I mean, it's still tough, but yeah, you have to get rid of that cage. Can't let that stay around.
Okay, so you're gonna lose 7 life overall. Sorry, yeah, 7. Because you're gaining 2, losing 2, and then take 7.
Fun way to do math. I would have just counted it all up, then -2. But what do I know?
I'll sometimes do it like that too, just to make it quicker. But
I don't know if that was any quicker, but I believe you.
So Haywire Might off the top for Steve was big. It definitely got rid of the Grafdigger's Cage, but the Emery's not there anymore. So half of our problem is gone. We got to worry about Underworld Breach, but like in response to Underworld Breach, you can just nuke his graveyard with the Crypt. And I mean, he's got Jazz Hands. There's nothing to bluff here.
Now, here's a question: as someone, because you have played Breach, and I think a lot of people at home have played against Breach, but maybe this is a good topic of discussion. Is it worth letting Steve go off and try to Breach until he hits more important, impactful cards than exiling? Because aren't you forcing him to waste resources in his deck at that point to maybe look for this combo card? But also, in fairness, Steve is probably not going to go off while that Tormod's Crypt is available.
I think Steve is a good enough player to not combo while his opponent like has the better of him. Although, so like he's casting a Breach here. You see 1 Breach that's on the stack, 1 in his yard. He's wasting a piece of cardboard, and his opponent can just nuke it.
2 mana.
He hasn't played a land this turn, so there's other things he can do, but
I mean, I don't think that he would have deployed this Underworld Breach without some clear line that he's trying to force Ryan into. Because, I mean, to my knowledge, Ryan is Jazz Hands. He has an active Emery next turn that I don't think can do anything too crazy.
Well, it can buy back this Tormod's Crypt, which is pretty big.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Ryan can sack the Crypt now.
That resolves.
Escape puts the spell right on the stack, which is what I would have liked doing this before any of this happens. Because this is the hard part here, because now he gets the free Haywire Might.
I am surprised that Ryan didn't crack here, but maybe there's something that I'm missing. I guess if Steve has the rest of the combo, Tormod's Crypting doesn't stop it at that point. I'm not sure. I always hate playing against Breach. It's such
So the fun part here is the cracking of Crypt is free. Like, you have to sacrifice the crypt to use the ability. It's not like tap crypt, like Relic of Progenitus taps and like you have to exile a card. Like, if all Steve gets out of this is a Haywire Might and he doesn't play anything else, because he doesn't have the mana to play anything else, then it's kind of it. I mean, he could nuke the rest of his graveyard and play this Nature's Claim, but I don't know why he'd do that when there's a welding jar sitting there.
And then you attack. You just keep your crypt.
Yeah.
Christ. Yeah, I just actually have to pass. I just exiled the wrong card, whatever. With my end step. Trigger.
Um,
I wonder what the.
yeah, fine.
I forgot which cards he exiled, so I'm curious to see what he felt was the
There was
wrong card.
there was a bauble there. He could have gotten another free card out of it, like for the draw an extra card.
Oh, pull it a blue. Try to cast Mox Levels.
Yeah, you cast Mox.
Combat.
Sure. Go to block.
Yep.
Taking at least 7.
Block like that.
It's actually 8 this time.
I said at least 7.
Yeah.
I was still correct. I gave myself the ability to not sound wrong on camera for everyone at home.
If you were to regenerating it, just puts a shield on it. It never leaves the battlefield, so it wouldn't re-trigger Kappa. Would it? If you were to like sack crypt in response to my Haywire Might or something?
No.
Okay, all right. Haywire Might.
I think Steve's forgetting that exiles,
Your graveyard in response to the Haywire
and that the regeneration doesn't do anything there.
Gain 2.
So you go to 13, and then you lose 7, 8, 9, 10. You go to 3.
I am surprised that Ryan, because like, what's the difference between 3 and 4?
I don't think there's a difference. I would have liked to see that play made and then like him activate the Emery, replay the Tormod script.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I had a chance if I top deck card there. Let's see.
It's definitely a mistake. Like I should have a cryptid.
Okay, well he thinks he agrees with us, which means that I am now at least a Affinity journeyman. So
yeah, because,
please hit me up.
Because even still, yeah, I don't know. He might be talking about the mistake of like he let the Underworld breach resolve before he like nerfed the graveyard, and I think you just nuke the graveyard, let the breach resolve, breach doesn't do anything, and then we just go about our day. But we're sitting here with more information than Ryan has, so it's easy for us to make those decisions.
Ryan, if we're actually gonna test Ryan, see if he watches our content. Ryan, if you see this, let us know if you were thinking that you should have a Tormod script from your turn or from the breach.
Yeah, post it down in the comment, G-Way. We appreciate any.
And if you don't watch it, we'll address this at FNM.
Yeah, we will talk to you sternly.
Yeah, I needed that to be a.
Well, we're dead even on games here. And Steve's on the play for this one. So, I assume that cut means nobody changed any sideboard choices. Ooh.
Yep.
That's a sapphire. Jesus Christ.
I don't know if you could say that, but you know, it's okay. One card in his hand. Oh man.
Brother.
Though having both breaches hit the yard seems a little, or 2 breaches, I should say, because that leaves now 2 left in the whole deck. And I do think that, unfortunately for Steve, I think that Ryan emptying his hand is a little bit better. But I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe with the mills that Emery gave Steve, it's a little worse.
This attack step gives Steve 2 Mox Sapphires. And he has 3 blue mana available.
So a lot to work with. I don't know if it does anything, but I could be wrong.
True.
In front of a live studio audience, he says. That's crazy.
That must have been I said because I'm the only one that uses that.
They're both sitting on 2 cards. I do like the dismember over here. It's 2 mana, dog.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, tap the blue source and play. Oh, okay.
Oh, that was a slight GRV.
Eh.
Well, I don't think you're allowed to
Trigger.
make a decision after you've already seen the card. Oof.
Wow, does my deck have artifacts in it?
I don't think it does.
That,
I don't think it has artifacts. And then we got
that's
a stone cold ripper from Ryan. Ooh.
Pay 1 for blue. Play.
Go to 19. Draw 2.
haywire and something else. It seems.
It looked like a Springleaf Throne, maybe.
Oh no, it's Lava Spur, Dismember, and Springleaf.
No, that last card is a Grafdigger's Cage.
I'm even worse.
Pump Fist.
Yep.
Oh, you need the mana. Okay. I
You're,
was wondering why there might be no equip. The Graph Diggers has to be all right here because then what are you putting Steve having green mana plus? You can get green mana.
I think you just dismember because
Really?
he needs cards in his graveyard right now. He only has blue mana, so unless he draws a fetch land to make green or red and put those cards into his graveyard, there's not much he can do. I think those are both Nature's Claims. Or no, they're Moxes.
It's a Nature's Claim and a Mox Amber.
Yeah.
Seeing it now, I do agree that the Dismember was better. You put Steve not having the ability to make mana with the Opal, and now you got rewarded by being able to play it this turn.
Yarp. Oh, you get to play Lava Spur Boots and equip the Shadow Spirit or something? Or is Shadow Spear 2 to equip? It's 2.
Oh, is it really? I thought it was 1.
Shadow Spear's 2, Boots is 1.
Got it. Okay.
Next turn, Frogmite can start getting in.
I apologize for everybody at home. I am learning with everyone, so we're going to learn together as
These
we
are
go.
definitely not cards Victor ever plays, so...
No. Graph Digger's Cage. I have played Cast It on Holy Heat once or twice in my life. Oh, and Malevolent Rumble.
Yeah, you're a Malevolent Rumble.
That's about it.
You're a Rumble stan.
Yeah, I like a little Rumble in the Jungle. Great
yeah, baby.
Great boxing match for our classic sports fans out there. My favorite interaction of all time, though, is when Creativity came onto the scene. I'll let you finish your thought, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off. I like him leaving the monitor back, because if Steve goes to try and make a clue here to try and gain some advantage, the Tameo's off the board. Unless, of course, Steve has like a... Steve would have to preordain, like play a draw spell, and then crack the clue, but it would probably use the entirety of Steve's turn to do all of that.
Yeah, and then that also leaves you back to using your Opal to cash in, because your Opal won't be able to tap for mana after that anyway, unless you did somehow draw a third artifact unrelated to the clue. But while Steve is thinking, when Creativity first came onto the scene, originally with the red-white dragon whose name escapes me, Velomachus Lorehold.
Velomachus Lorehold, yes.
Yes, a lot of people played Graph Digger's Cage against me, not understanding that does not stop Indomitable Creativity. So a lot of sad people out there when I was playing Creativity.
No, it exiles the card.
It does exile the card, then put it into play. Very, very small detail, but reading the card explains the card, and
this could be huge. This could be very huge from Steve.
Oof.
Very, very huge. Indeed.
Does that leave?
So So what's going to happen here is I would assume Steve is going to sacrifice the opal because it's the one that can make any mana right now. Because the grinding station trigger is on the stack.
Sack.
Oh, I'm sorry, he doesn't have the breach. Okay, I forgot that
No.
you kind of that's a card that you
He
do
only
need to
gets
have.
he only gets to Emery play an artifact at this point. So it would
Which
have
doesn't
to
seem
be
terrible.
it would have to be a 0-drop, and it would be the Mox Opal again.
Target opal. Cast opal. Trigger on top.
I do believe the last card in his hand is an Amber, so he can play the Amber with the trigger on tap, but we'll see how this goes. That is not a land, folks. That is actually a Synchronous Stupor on the other side. Hmm.
Not
How
a lot
do
going
we?
on.
Yeah, it's like just grass grows, and then we see what happens.
I mean, the sync it was a huge draw though. That does allow Ryan some instant speed interaction that may save the day.
If he leaves it up, yeah.
Well, I have to wager that there's no point in attacking with.
At 18, me 19. Right.
You're at 18? Yeah. Okay.
We'll yell at Jackson about missing 2 damage somewhere for everyone at home. We
Yeah,
apologize.
I don't know where that would have come from.
At the end of the day, it is the player's responsibility, so we do trust in their self integrity that they're keeping it correct. So
Yeah.
What is the thing here?
I just don't see any cards that like he would have lost life for. All those lands, he didn't fetch those fetch lands in the graveyard. He didn't crack. They got milled.
yeah, I'm not sure.
But once again, Ryan being steadfast, leaving the Thought Monitor back for this impending Tamiyo if it decides to come into the red zone. Is that another Nature's Claim? I can't really see the other card, but I know we have a Mox Amber in Steve's hand and a mystery card, and then Ryan is sitting on Synchronous Stupor, which could very well turn this game around on its head. Again, Ryan's own Emery could be huge. We have a Twigger.
Oh, I always forget that you actually have to pay mana for the spells. I'm so used to those bringing back 0-drops that it never mattered.
Sack Amber, mill me 3.
Play Amber.
Watch Amber. Untap station. Combat.
Yeah, no, he he being Steve has left himself insurance with having the Spellbomb in play, because if Ryan goes to block with the Thought Monitor, Steve can just bounce it back to his hand.
Is that worth it though, for the pure fact of Ryan getting 2 more cards?
Having extra cards like artifacts to sack to the grinding station is definitely important.
Yeah, I think we'll just keep staring at each other. Go.
They're gonna play the Who Blinks first game, and we see. Ooh, I called it! I freaking called it, baby! Oh.
If only you had put money on it.
Well, the cool part here is it can get haste.
Oh, it can. That is
lava,
spicy.
that lava spur boots, baby.
Am we?
All right, let's see what we mill. Looks like some Decent hits.
Citadel, Spellbomb, Drum.
Well, decent. I think Grafdigger's is clearly the best one by a not close margin.
Sure.
Still.
That does leave us shields down for Sinking to Stupor.
Oh, to deploy if you wanted to deploy it.
Yeah.
Go to blocks. 2, I got a 15.
Back to Steve with one card in hand. Does he want to mill 3 right here? The tension is palpable right now.
I do like the keeping up the sync for Ryan. I don't think he is in this imperative need to leave one card off, especially with the fact that we kind of missed that equipping Lava Spur would have been a blowout to the Aether Spellbomb anyway. So that would have left him with no Emery plus no mana.
Yeah, and I think that's why he did it like that. I think that was a fair play. This very well could just be show you Spellbomb, play Spellbomb, do the whole thing again. I think that was a green card, but he still doesn't have green mana. I can't tell if it was Rumble or not. I think it's Rumble because it's got the new frame. And then
Whatever. Cast bobble.
It could be the one of Veil of Summer. There is a one of Veil of Summer.
That's true.
Go.
In the sideboard.
End of your turn. I'll return your bobble to your hand.
The spell bomb or the bobble?
Spell bomb.
Veil.
That's pretty fucking good. Yeah.
It was a Veil. Look at that.
Go, and in your upkeep, I want to take a look.
Sure.
Okay.
It was a
Looks
foil
like a
midnight. Yeah. Well, our Singing
Not hitting a land.
Our Singing to Stupor is gone.
Yes. Not fantastic. So now, what's the situation here? Now you have to go all in on making Steve sack this bubble.
He doesn't have the. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You're making him target the Emery here, which means you can just get another flip for it and get it anyway because you can play it and then re-equip. So you're trying to bank on. Well, you know what the other card in his hand is. Like he's only got a Memnite.
Kinda, yeah. No, that's not fun. Not fun for Steven.
But he has to do it, right? Like you can't let Ryan get a Grafdiggers here.
No, because it stops you from doing exactly what you're doing. The card Steven needs is he needs to draw Underworld Breach, and he also has to draw. I guess he doesn't need the red source. He just needs Breach, and the game ends.
But then I guess you have to.
So he's looking for 2 breaches.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sorry. Debating if I was going to make you do that.
I'll get Tormund's good.
Oh, okay. Also good.
Play some night you know about.
Yep.
So we're going to come in for 4?
Bring the boys without the thought monitor. Keep the pressure going. There's not a lot of time left. You gotta bring some noise here. Or what you could do is you can move the Lava Spur boots now to the new Memnite and then just crash in with everything. Yes, Ryan. There's not a lot of time left. Although I believe once that timer gets to 0, people are going to be taking a decent amount more time thinking through their plays.
Wait a minute, am I stupid?
Now here's a fun conversation while there's some thinking going on, because
Okay.
I think there is a lot going on. So I know that for a lot of people, I'll pause my thought while we watch some action happen.
Go to 10, I'll go to 22.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I guess maybe Ryan's thinking about the time being a factor. He's not going to get that many turns, so he's just going to push in damage.
Well, yeah,
Might be
he's going to
relevant.
be like Steve's going to be turn 0 here, like for sure.
Draw for turn.
Ryan's jazz hands, he's either dead or he has turns where he can make plays and make a difference, right? With the Lava Spur Boots currently on the Emery, it's going to cost Steve 2 mana to return the Emery to Ryan's hand. Ooh,
Step
okay.
1, land.
That matters. That matters a lot. He does have the free. He has a free clue he can generate right now.
I know. I might not know much, but that much I do know.
Oh, he can flip. He can flip the Tameo this turn. It would require a lot of stuff from him, but he could flip it. If he sacks the spell bomb to draw a card, and then sacks the clue.
Trigger, make a clue.
Seems like a lot, though. Like, what is? I mean, oh, but then no, because doesn't the Tameo only do instants and sorceries, or does it buy back anything? No, it buys back an instant or sorcery. So you can't get the.
Draw a card with a clue.
Yeah, because he drew from the bubble, so all he had to do was pay the mana to sack the clue token, and he flipped it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It still was 2 mana to do that, though. I mean, I guess if there's not a lot going on in your hand.
So I believe Tameo comes in with 2 counters. You cannot minus her right away.
Correct. Okay, so buyback wasn't an option.
No, but the shutting down the Mem Knights is an option, and shrinking the entire team is huge.
Yeah, because now Ryan can only get in for 2.
Cast bubble.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think that's a Metallic Rebuke.
I am inclined to agree with you here.
The stinky one. Is the stinky one?
Get the bubble.
I would like to cast bubble. Or I target bubble.
2 cards in hand? 2.
I think you nuke his graveyard.
I can lose the game here. So that resolves.
Sure.
That's fair.
Oh, okay, yeah, because if he has the breach, then those allow for it to.
Yep, because he can just sack one and flip them back and forth.
Good heads up thinking by Ryan there. I think, as much as I'm not a big Mox Opal fan, I think that these guys are showing a lot of skill in these decks and certainly making it much more interesting than I've just plopped down my hand and you're dead. So I appreciate that.
There's a lot of cog work thinking that goes into playing this Temur Breach deck. Like remembering to stack your triggers with Grinding Station, remembering what's going to happen. A lot of that matters.
I'll draw 2. Still an upkeep.
Unfortunately, Steve's hair is nice and long, so I can't actually see the cards. One of them wasn't Unholy Heat, though.
Yeah, he drew an Unholy Heat.
That's a pretty good one.
Ironically, though, or not ironically, I should say, but he does not have a way to generate the additional mana to pay for the ward now.
He 100% has.
Return target instant or sorcery card?
Yeah. There's some good ones in there. Sorry. I don't know what turn we are.
Return Veil.
Ryan's got a card in his hand. I thought they stopped in the upkeep, but I guess they proceeded. I wasn't sure if Steve was going to do something in the upkeep or not.
Get Cap Pen in here.
Yep.
1, 2, 3,
Oh yeah, the Tamios, they're not attacking anyway. You might as well just cash in.
4, 5.
Oh my goodness, you can improvise equipment. I hate this. Never mind, Wizards. You Wizards. We're fighting after this. That is.
You want to
That
know
is
what else you
something
can
else.
do? You can give it fucking ace, dog.
You can give it haste, which seems pretty good, except
Oh,
and it has ward already, so yeah, it's just happening. Can't
You're
unholy heat that. With great power comes great responsibility, I guess.
It is currently a 6-5. Cut your life total in half, dog.
Kill Temur.
Oh, he's going a Tamio with that.
You're
Man, the hasty kappa kind of cheeks. The metallic rebuke is mostly the biggest annoying part of this.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess because no matter what, there's not enough.
well. You only have one land that can make colored mana right now, and it's not even a land; it's the Mox Opal. The Amber only makes blue. The Otawara only makes blue, and the Saga makes colorless. So if you use Opal to make green mana, you can't make red mana. So you can't protect yourself. Like if you were
Yes,
able
you
to
can. You won't have
rebuy,
Veil.
if you were able to rebuy Veil, you could cast that with the Amber, and then you could cast the Breach with the Opal. We're unfortunately in a state where we cannot do that. And I do think some of Steve's lands that are fetchable are in his graveyard right now. I didn't see the breeding pool, although I think he drew that.
Yes, I believe he did.
But Stomping Grounds is in his bin.
And unfortunately for Steve, Ryan has both Crypt Crack plus Metallic Rebuke available.
Yep.
So you're fighting through a lot.
That's a cute mountain.
It's a very nice mountain.
The red card's the Unholy Heat. He has a Haywire Might, and then he has the breeding pool.
So basically, only 2 relevant cards at the moment.
Basically.
Like back there, I'm just like, where did they go?
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, I'm probably gigging that.
I hope so.
Sorry, I forgot about the Midnights. That's why I was doing all this nonsense. All right, so I have to force you to do that. I don't know. All right, I'll cast this Haywire Might.
Make him pay. Make him pay. I think you just let it resolve.
Yeah, I mean, this is I love these kinds of puzzles, right? And I think that anyone who has played chess or just loves the studious parts of Magic, these kinds of situations are always fun to watch. Trying to solve the play, especially after the fact, right? Because maybe you can find a way that the whoever is on the losing side of this didn't see. But I am certainly.
So if you counter it, he uses his Emery and casts it again. So countering it is not good.
Well, you have the Tormod's Crypt. So if he goes to activate, you just crack in response anyway.
Yes, but the problem with that is if he goes to do that line of play, right, and you Tormod's Crypt, and then he just has the breach, we're just
you're
dead.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Because we've used Counterspell and we've used the Crypt. I think unless we're dead, we don't do anything. Haywire Might doesn't dead us. And Kappa's going to have haste, so it's going to not have summoning sickness anymore, so that doesn't matter.
Running station trigger.
Float blue. Ooh. Or make it green.
I mean, this posture would make you believe that he has the breach in hand. He's trying to go for it, right?
Okay, I'll sack it targeting Torment Script.
Torment Script? Yep. I'll exile your graveyard.
Yep. I gain 2 life.
Sure. You're at 12.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. Actually, I thought about that. I wasn't sure why Steve's was at 4.
Yeah, he should be at 12
Hopefully.
right now.
All right, thank goodness Jackson fixed that.
You're.
Has to be exactly.
There's a grinding station trigger. Are we going to do anything with it?
I think.
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess technically speaking, there still would have been.
Oh no, he's drawing a card. Okay.
Absolutely could. Only 3. Sure.
So the reason why he puts another card in the graveyard is in case he mills the Thassa's Oracle, he can't exile the Thassa's Oracle and then still win the game. So you need another piece of fodder in the yard, which is why he sacked the Aether Spellbound.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Makes sense.
But he was just dead regardless.
I couldn't beat.
It was he kind of got pretty unlucky just being stuck on the lands he was stuck on. I think if Steve drew some more lands, he would have been able to make a couple more plays. But
let's not forget
Affinity's
those Emery
very
Mills
strong.
to begin.
Yeah, the Emery Mills were very strong. There was a lot of stuff going on. But once again, we thank you for following. We thank you for liking. Don't forget to check out the Bonfire store. And we will see you in the next ones. Say goodbye, Victor.
Goodbye, Victor.